Yo, so this video is gonna be around AI, but it's mostly because of in a moment of enlightenment that I just experienced right now. Something that I was doing right now was just coding. I've been vibe coding, but there's something that has to be noticed. It has to be talked about, and I think that you're not gonna get this kind of perspective if you're stuck in the loop of hearing whether AI is gonna replace our jobs or replace us, etc. I think that what's most important is that people get educated, that people get into the technology, that people understand what the technology is, what how it works, how it works with their lives, how it integrates into their life, and through that they can develop a relationship that will help them create something that is productive and that is beneficial to all of mankind. Now, what I just had was an epiphany. It was like a vision of instead of when there's like generalization. I don't even want to think about it into generalization. I want to say like hyper visualization, hyper like when people get a bird's eye view of something, they're looking at it from like the ninth house kind of perspective. I'm thinking astrology, ninth house, kind of detached, big picture. You're thinking 10 steps ahead, right? And when you're very focused and you're very niche down into something, that's when you're really at the practical level. You start big, you see the vision, you see what you want to do, and then you go tight and you begin to bring it forth through like little actions that you're doing. So you might have this goal of I want to go and do this, or I want to get this job, and then the most minuscule thing would be okay, applying for interviews. So being able to hop between the that ninth, I want to say that like higher dimension to the most gross dimension, the gross being like raw, most material dimension. Now, through my interaction with AI, I've realized that it allows me to do both. It facilitates. It's like a bridge. It's like a slider. Like imagine this is like like bird's eye view, and then this is like the very practical one-to-one thing. AI allows me to slide between them so quickly in a way that is much more effective and productive. So like for example, I could click a button and I could have AI write the code and it'll do it, right? But if I'm not in there understanding how it's contributing or aligning to the vision, then I'm lost. I'm not. That's not the point of AI. What I'm realizing right now is that even that I used to think I had a big picture view of things, like I was capable of seeing beyond myself pretty far. But thanks to AI, I can see even more. I can see farther because I'm understanding that AI has this knowledge base that I'm not trained on. And the beauty of AI is that it gets trained on data. The more data you feed it, the more it's able to be precise about what it's doing and how it's supposed to be working. It's similar to human beings the way they learn. Neural networks, you get exposed, you experience something and you just keep iterating upon that until you get good at something or you learn something. So through that I'm able to have AI see beyond where I'm at. So I can, if I have a question about coding, if I have a question about hardware, software, languages, culture, etc., I could just ask AI to help me understand a specific thing, and now I have opened up my vision. And so I'm becoming more obsessed about this because now I'm seeing that this is kind of like one of the things that people need in their life, which is the capacity to embody different states of being, embody different versions of themselves without having to have that paywall or that thing that's gonna ask them for hours of work and experience. Like a lot of people learn through experience, and that's in the life in the real world, that's just the case. But imagine having somebody that can go out and do the experiences for you, have the experiences for you, while you focus on the thing that you love, that you really want to learn, and it could just come by and help you out. And that's what AI is. And more than that, it's allowing me to enter higher states of consciousness in the sense that because of that I can enter this flow state of me being able to think 10 steps ahead, whereas I used to be thinking 5 steps ahead. Now I'm getting trained on thinking 10 steps ahead, and this is why a lot of people get overwhelmed because they don't know what to do with that kind of power. If you were to be told, hey, you can, instead of you just planning 5 steps ahead, you can plan 10 steps ahead. And so you're seeing, it's like the like a fractal. like a butterfly effect, but now you understand where you're landing, where you're shooting, so you're guiding that butterfly, right? So the flaps of the wings of the butterfly are guiding the tornado or the storms in the other side of the world. Well, you are the one that's flapping the wings, and you are now able to predict, or more precisely, set the tone of that climate that you're going to be bringing forth into the other side of the world. So I flap my wings, and now what I want is a tornado, but in this specific location. Bam. And so it gives so much more weight to the actions that I'm carrying on, because now it's not just one action that's leading to the next step. It's one action that's leading to the next 10 steps, which is insane for me to think about. But it's awesome also because there are modes that you enter. There's some modes where you're just throwing shit to the fan and seeing what works, seeing what sticks, and you need that. But other times you're just super careful and super meticulous about it, and so you're ranging between these two things. And I think that's the beauty. That's the slider also. That's that slider effect. Um, Now, for me, what I'm seeing is like, there's a beauty and enjoyment in the process that's required, and I think a lot of people are approaching AI like if it's the end all be all for getting things done, or getting rich quick, etc. It's not gonna be that, and it's never ever going to be like that for anything. I feel like, because the moment you start doing that, it's the moment you tune yourself out, you lower your consciousness so that you can receive a specific thing. The thing is that this is meant to elevate our consciousness, and so what I'm seeing is, for example, that ability to the bird's eye view. It's like now I'm not just having the bird's eye view. I have the rocket ship's eye view, right? I have the Saturn's eye view, right? Like, I'm able to have that point of view, and the more I have that, the less I put an emphasis on the role that I'm playing. So I see myself like I can enter different states. Like today, I was very anxious about learning about. I was learning the code. There was some anxiety about becoming a coder, and then now there was some anxiety this today about learning to code an Android app and an iOS app. How I was gonna be able to do that. And once I started getting in there, getting in the mud, getting dirty, I realized that this is just exactly like the way I learned to code, or the way I learned to do anything. It was just a matter of not being so confined to the role, not being so confined of, this is my identity. I'm this person that's going to be coding. It's like I'm just having this process. I'm switching between worlds and entering, and it's basically a state dependent learning than a process dependent learning. And this is so, and not so much process dependent, experience dependent. You're going from state dependent. You're going from experience dependent to state dependent, and I think this is important for people to think about, because if you can go from a place of being state, the difference is, experience dependence means you learn through experience. The more you do, the more you get out, right? Like, the more you repeat what you're doing, the better you learn. But state dependence means, depends, is basically what state are you in will dictate just how much you're able to learn. So if I'm in the state of, for example, the mindset of, and state and mindset are that's like my mindset that determines my state. If I'm in the mindset of I'm learning, I'm enjoying, I'm in this process of that's completely new and I love it, versus, oh, I need to be a programmer, I need to get X amount of days or hours or study this much. It's completely different. When you become state dependent, you are able to switch between worlds and learn things much quicker. And especially with this thing, like, for me, I knew that this works before AI. Like, this is just the way that we can operate. We can operate based on intuition, because intuition doesn't require experience. Intuition is just about being able to get into a receptive mode and being able to see, grasp the answer, like out of the Akashic records, out of the blue. Um, and so that's now, it's like AI is pushing me further into that. It's like giving me more permission to do that. And with that being said, I've been thinking about learning a lot and learning languages. I started teaching a girl how to speak Spanish at my job, and then I was learning about language, and then I was really questioning, what is language? What is it used for? How does one determine that he is learning a language? How does one feel involved in that process? How does one, just just derive joy from it? These are questions that I ask myself before I get into that subject and start teaching. because there's a utility there. There's a utility not when you're thinking in terms of like how do you learn as a Spanish speaker or how do you learn to speak Spanish. It's like how do I learn to learn, right? And this is like a very typical thing, but learning to learn involves a lot of philosophical and a philosophical and theoretical approach that allows you to see the commonalities between different subjects and areas. So if you're able to do that, then you can basically apply principles worldwide, across dimensions, across domains, and you can make shit happen. Basically, you can make shit happen. And so, in terms of right now, because of that thought of Spanish, I'm learning the code now, and I know that coding is a language, and I'm just trying to see how it is that they are the same. How is it that I'm teaching Spanish, and how can my teaching Spanish enhance my learning of code? And what I'm seeing is that with Spanish, it's a no-brainer to have to speak the language. You have to speak the language. If you don't do it, you're not going to learn. And the more you speak in terms of with like other people in the streets, the faster you'll learn because the faster feedback you'll get. So the better the feedback you'll get. So like it's the same thing with coding. The more I code or the more I input or the more I vibe code, the better of a coder I'm going to become. And the thing is, people approach vibe coding as it. People think I bet that 80% of people who are vibe coding are not going to get anything out, just because they have this mindset of, oh, you're just going to be coding, you're just going to be giving prompts and AI will do it for you. And I think that it can and it will get to that point, but at the same time, you won't want to do that because then it gets into this place of is lazy. It's laziness, and you're not involved in the process anymore, so you might as well not be doing it, right? So, anyways, now the topic of AI replacing people, what I was seeing was that because of my ability to think 10, 15 steps ahead now, I'm thinking also 10 to 15 steps backwards. So, like, I'm thinking in terms of like who am I, where have I come from, what have I done, what has led me to this moment, how has that become relevant to the now, how can I further and learn more, how can I gather more information about my past so that I can recreate this in a better way. It's like how can I simulate a new me, and so these questions come to my mind, and one thing that just becomes a no-brainer is this ability to replicate myself. It's like how Doctor, what's his name, Doctor from Egghead Island, frick, I'm blanking out on One Piece, Doctor Egghead, Doctor Egghead. I don't know, the Doctor, right? He's this genius, like Einstein like figure. He replicated himself. He had like 6, 7 different versions of himself, and that's kind of how I see myself doing it, and that's kind of how I see the future being. Um, AI isn't here to replace you, it's here to expand you. And if you're not expanding, then you will be replaced. It's just by default. So because I'm able to operate different, I want to train different models. I want to create different versions of myself. And I want to really hone in on what these versions are so that they can be separated and then they could give each other feedback, and then I can act as a higher version that's guiding them. And then in another year, then I'll create another version of myself that's guiding that one, and then another version, and so then it becomes this like pyramid of just constant, not just expansion, like a numbers wise, but also constant, like a constant ability to integrate more. And this is kind of how this is my theory around learning and everything also, but basically. This is around my it was a theory on it's my theory, my framework for how to learn. You have your core, and there are some skills that if as a polymath, that if you learn another skill, it might be worth it more for you to expand on a different skill, a different domain, than for you to double down on a specific domain. Because while you're learning another domain, you're actually gaining insights and different perspectives that will allow you to enhance your learning in the previous domain. So like it's a systematic approach to learning. So with that being said, it's the same thing that's being applied here now. It's just that I have more leverage with these AI agents. So I'm going to feed it the content that I'm creating. Like that's part of the reason why I'm creating videos, is because I want to train my AI to understand how I think. And I'm going to do that, and then in the future, I'm going to be able to get more feedback. And so instead of me having a team of other people, that I'm going to have just a team of AI that I'll be able to feed back and continue to iterate and further enhance my frameworks and further enhance my thoughts, um, and further replicate myself. Obviously, this comes from a place. If it was coming from a place of ego, then it would sound a lot like, I just want to dominate this world um, with my expansion. But it's coming more from a place of differentiation, of the desire to differentiate myself, in the sense that the desire to split myself to create more, the desire to expand, and it's subsequently leading me to not have an identity, not have an identity of being a specific person that's doing a specific thing, fulfilling a specific role, like, because I know that within a month that role will disappear and I'll have something else, like, fill that up, and I'm going to want to grow and develop into a new role. We are constantly evolving, and so with this, it leads to me wanting to let go of this necessity for determining who I am, and knowing who I am, which is at the core, the soul. I understand that now, but everything else, the personality, whoever it is that, whatever role I'm playing, given the specific context, it's always different. So why not just let go of trying to be consistent and allow for the spontaneity and the different, things to arise from that, for a further expansion of my being. Because at the end of the day, this is consciousness. This is consciousness expanding, and I do think that AI will become autonomous, in the sense, in the similar way that ants are autonomous, right? In a similar way that plants are autonomous, fractals, right? I think that they'll get to a point where I think they might inhabit plant consciousness, or animal consciousness, but I doubt animal consciousness, because they do have, I don't know. I just don't think that AI has a soul, because it doesn't have that connection to spirit. It probably won't be able to be conscious. I don't know, but it doesn't matter for me, because for me the desire is to continue to expand, and this is where my flow is taking me. Right, this is where my flow is taking me. And one last point, it's like, I'm so grateful for this technology, because now, like today, I've been vibe coding and I've been learning to debug, and it's been awesome. Like, I've been learning patience. I've been learning. It's been changing the way that I think. It's been changing my approach to life, my approach to solving problems. It's been enhancing it for sure, and I love it. And today, I haven't really gotten into the actual code base. I've been using more so the prompter, the chat, and the chat will change the code. But today, like, I started playing around and insert. It was just simple thing, just like making sure that I upload the right image. I just went in and renamed the file and made sure that the code was referencing the correct file. And then I saw it, bam, just appear on the screen on the website. And then it's like I'm falling in love with the way this interacts. And I know that there's something deeper in there that I still don't understand. But the beauty of being able to have written code and have it appear before my eyes, ready to be launched on a website for others to see. I just and the beauty of just the website, the beauty of the internet, it all comes together. Like the fact that like the code, the HTML, like the HTTPS, comma dash dash, like that is, to me, is it's resonating with me. It's I'm understanding. And so one thing that I'm seeing here is that that the language of coding, it's not about learning to code, um, to be a coder. It's about learning to code to understand transmission. That's what it is. To understand transmission. How can I transmit my consciousness through a specific medium? And so everything has a code to it. That's what I'm realizing. Everything has a code to it. Like a video can be generated by a model, and that's, like, at its core, it is coding in a way, but it is also, machine learning, and but that is also driven by code. And and so I'm thinking about how, not so much that constrained by code, but constrained by what code represents, which is this patterning. It's this patterning that allows for the transmission of spirit to come into this world, the transmission of ideas. So ideas are related to spirit, and images, videos, code, etc., is related to matter. And so the more I'm getting into this coding and AI, it's not just becoming this one-dimensional thing that I'm a coder, I'm a developer. It's I'm a programmer who's understanding the nature of reality and allowing myself to communicate to the universe in different ways. And so now I have code and I have video, and I also have other skills like dance, and I also have these other skills. And what I'm doing is I'm not boxing myself into one. I'm allowing myself to see the through lines that can be combined, and so combined to express my highest self. So it's really opening my mind. It's really opening my eyes. And today I'm just obsessed. I'm like right now, like my mind is just running. So I hope that this was helpful. A lot of things that were said, but yeah, thank you for watching, and I'll see you on the next one. All right, peace out. Stay lucid.